I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 7:32. The only thing on the agenda this evening is a hearing on a cease and desist with respect to 163 Center Road. Show cause hearing on appropriate action regarding the issuance of cease and desist order for work done in upland review area of the Wetwag River for property located at 163 Center Road. Tell you what, Terry, why don't you just, if you don't mind starting just to summarize what's the story here.
Sure. Sorry for bringing you out. As you know, our regulations require an order by an enforcement officer to be heard by this agency within 10 days of the issuance of that order. And in this order, you can have your choice of doing almost anything you want with it. You can sustain the enforcement officer's decision, you can modify it, you can make some conditions, you can ask them to come for a permit. There's a wide range of things that you're allowed to do. I was called to the scene by a telephone complaint, in fact, numerous telephone complaints, on August 31st. And what I found was, although the allegation for the first phone calls were of tree cutting, I didn't actually see any of that. I saw the area within 100 feet of a wetlands, and in fact I believe it's within 5 feet of the river. Some of the topsoil material was removed. A circular driveway was being installed. Some other topsoil was being placed in other places, and I think you have some photographs that you have. Mm-hmm. I took the liberty this evening to take some other photographs of how it exists at 6 o'clock tonight. There are 2 copies, they're identical, so you can share. From an enforcement officer perspective, I don't think I have any choice in making this taking this action. I had no notice of this, no inquiry. There were no silt fencing, no protections for the stream in place. I've seen neither at the time that I witnessed this or just now. And it just doesn't give me any discretion in our regulations, mm-hmm. except to bring it in front of you.
Okay. You, Mr. Lewis?
I am. I'm the homeowner. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you want to speak at all, or?
I mean, sure. I'd love to. Yeah.
Sure. Why don't you come on up and sign in, if you would, and then just state your name for the record and sort of let us know what's going on here.
So my name is Patrick Lewis. I'm the homeowner at 163 Center Road. So originally what we were doing here, I mean, what our plan was to rip off the old asphalt and repave the existing driveway, which is what we did. Mm-hmm. So there were some trees that were local to that driveway that we took out in regards to the roots ripping up and the whole reason why we had to replace the driveway to begin with. So none of that is within 100 yards, which we weren't aware of. You know, we weren't aware of any issue with 100 yards, or we would have filed for a permit correctly and done,
100 feet,
what we were supposed to do.
So it's 100 feet from the water course.
100 feet, okay. So then the only other item that was added was there was a dirt road, a drive off that we would do to get to our backyard, and just some top dressing was put on that, and that's what got within the the area of the bridge.
I don't have any comment about tree cutting. By the way, it's clear to me that it was, while selective trees were removed, I don't think this is a case of clear cutting, and there are trees between your property and the river itself.
Oh, yeah, quite a few, yeah.
That remain.
We were certainly not trying to clear the property.
So this is not, I don't have any issue about tree cutting. I think it was clearly a selective thing.
Took out what we thought would affect our driveway, yeah.
It's the removal of material, the installation of select fill to support the driveway and the whole turnaround which I believe creates the event that
Right,
brings you here.
but the T was existing. I mean, if you look at my existing.
I've parked on that T.
I know, I've had you there, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that anything, had you confined yourself to that, I don't think that we wouldn't be gathered here this evening.
So, just so
But
I
you didn't.
understand, there was a broken up asphalt driveway in the same location before?
Yeah, I mean, it was an asphalt drive. It had cracks through it. It wasn't completely destroyed. But it was in the existing location. I mean, I have a plot plan of my house that shows it.
I think that the driveway, there's a long private driveway after the bridge. You guys will remember the bridge that was installed. After, there was some distance, and then you had to take a left-hand turn into your driveway.
Correct.
It was a 90-degree
Correct.
left-hand turn.
Absolutely.
And then you turned from left onto that into a small pad of the.
I mean, it's a fairly big pad, yeah.
It's certainly big now, and whether or not it's the same size or not, I can't confirm that.
I mean, it's certainly within a few feet.
I think it's larger than it was before, but that still doesn't get us to what we're talking about this evening. What we're talking about this evening is from there.
Right.
You went towards the river.
Correct.
And I know you seek to diminish it by calling it a process path, but what you've done is removed material. You've deposited other material that is more suitable for truck driving and automobile driving. And then you've established a remarkable seeded lawn that, by the way, seems to be growing between now and August 31st. It's quite remarkable seeded.
It is growing very well.
I don't think we've had any rain, so it's just remarkable. But that the commission, I believe, the agency is very interested, and we'll hear from them if they're interested or not, that close to the river, because to maintain that lawn, a person is going to have to feed that lawn. To maintain that gravel driveway in the winter, now that it's there, it's going to have to be de-iced. And those are the two things that don't do well in that close a proximity to the headquarters of the Whipple.
I 100% understand.
So that's the issue.
So, just so I understand, because haven't gone out there yet, this area near the bridge, that is new, that wasn't there before?
That's brand new.
Right, it was a dirt trail. It was just cleared up.
I have to tell you that we have aerial photographs. It wasn't there. It may have been there, when you did the pool, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the pool was done before me, yeah.
Okay, but it was a path. It wasn't a well-established driveway that it is today.
Correct. Right, it was a path. It was certainly not, I mean, my landscaper drives on it to get his mower up into the backyard. It's the only way up there. So, I mean, the intent was certainly not to take the woods and make it a yard. I mean, we planted the grass as basically erosion control.
Correct.
Because you came out there and we wanted to satisfy.
No, that was the right thing to do.
Right, so it wasn't because I want a yard in the woods. I certainly don't want to maintain a yard in the woods. I mean, it was woods before. It doesn't do me any justice to have grass there. We did it more as erosion control measures. And we don't have any intent of plowing it. I mean, we wouldn't plow it.
Do you have any intent of mowing the lawn once it starts growing?
I'd rather not over there.
Okay.
I mean, I'd rather keep that woods. I mean, it's a quaint area that we have for a vision of the Wepawag from our bay window.
Okay.
It's a little bit better today, isn't it, than it was before?
Certainly is, yes.
So this is an additional view characteristic that you've given yourself by doing this activity?
Character, I don't know.
You're able to see the river better.
No. I mean, we didn't take down any trees that blocked or helped our view at all, no.
So on this area near the river, where the driveway is located, that's going to be gravel, or it is gravel now?
It's process, yes.
It's process? Okay.
And you're going to keep it processed?
We're going to keep it, I mean, yes. At this point, yes.
Or you would like to keep it
I mean,
processed?
I should say. I mean, honestly, our contract was always to keep it processed, but I mean, if it was at all permissible, I'd love to apply for a permit to change that. But that was never the original intent. That's what my wife asked me since she's seen it.
Adding impervious surface to what's already been done would not necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the answer to that question is that you have to deal with the water flow.
Yeah.
And to responsibly handle the water runoff, you would have to direct it someplace that was not the Whippoorwill River.
Understood.
Until it was stilled or pre-treated somehow.
And you'd have to have an engineer. That would have to be engineered.
Right, for proper runoffs. Understood.
So I think that would be a subject of an application to this agency
Absolutely.
to do.
Right.
And one could design it if, I don't want to get you in any trouble at home, because if that's what you desire, there's a way to do that. I think it's really the closeness to that bridge abutment is of great concern, because if you put a lot of water there, there's a driveway. Your driveway's your private drive.
Yeah.
is done with millings.
Millings, correct. Yeah.
And while they don't move much, if we introduced a heavy sheet flow off of an asphalt surface, we would have to deal with that somehow.
Certainly could.
And then what do we do with that? The icing and stuff that's close to the Whippoorwill.
I mean, on a driveway this size, I wouldn't de-ice it any more than I would de-ice the road going up and down. That's the adjoining road going over the bridge. I mean, we don't de-ice stuff that large. I mean, so I mean, I don't see the process area any more of a risk of de-icing than the millings already going over the bridge that get plowed every year.
It's just more. And that bridge was installed by benefit of a wetlands permit.
Right.
And quite frankly, after it failed. So.
And forgive me for being thick about this. So the area we're talking about was just sort of like a cart path, or it was just a dirt
Absolutely,
path
yeah.
to get to your...
Correct.
It wasn't the main access to your house historically.
No, it was two
No,
tracks to the
absolutely
back
not,
of his
yeah.
property. His property has a higher level in back.
Mhm.
And it was, I don't know if I would even describe it as a cart path. I remember when it wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
So it's just there recently.
So
Yeah,
now
I mean,
this
it's
is
not
a much
recent,
more
but yeah.
major driveway area versus
at
what it
all.
was before. Okay.
Right. Absolutely. Now it's an area that we could drive vehicles on that also attaches to our driveway. Yep.
So you now have a circular driveway, basically.
Yes. In turn, yes.
Right.
Was there any ground cover, any planting there prior to this work? Native brush?
Where the actual extension of the driveway got added,
Yeah.
it was just leaves and debris and twigs and built up over the years.
Is there an overhead photograph in the file? I believe
Yeah,
we
it's a little
have.
hard to... This one you're talking about?
Right.
And what's the natural slope of the, I don't recall the property there. What was the natural
Depends
slope?
on, I think, from the house to the edge of the stream bed. I would describe it as a gentle slope. I would, probably less than 2%. Warren, would you consider?
Right. It's a slope, but it's not a major slope.
Towards
Right.
the river.
It was sloped before.
In back, but what it was, by the way, was the forest floor. That absorbent thing that when you walk on it,
Right.
it'll, take the
does.
moisture and just absorb that
does.
spongy stuff. And now, that's been removed in the area of that circular drive.
So you're gonna get flow
And
across
a
it.
hardened surface that, the coefficient, the drainage coefficient of a driveway like that is almost concrete. That's how good it is.
Yeah, but it wasn't spongy. I mean, my kids play down there. I mean, it gets spongy maybe within 5 feet of the river, down farther where the waterfall is. I mean, my kids play over there almost every day in the woods. I mean, they don't come back dirty. I mean, it's not spongy where it's not marshy. It's not.
Oh, I'm not talking about marshy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about soft and
Right, to absorb water. But we've added top dressing off the side of it to absorb that water.
Okay, I can see what you've done. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I don't.
Right, I'm not,
whether
I'm
that
not trying to argue. I'm just explaining because these gentlemen haven't seen it.
and I recommend that they do. I think that it has the potential of changing the way that the Wepawag receives its water from its shed. In a way that was different than it was when it was started.
Doesn't look like there's that much slope, though. I guess that's my only question. And does it slope toward the grass area, or does it slope toward the bridge?
I think it generally slopes from the house to the bridge.
The whole house does, right?
I think the whole thing is
The whole land goes
a
that way.
gentle slope. Behind the house becomes steeper.
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion is it slopes more towards the drive than it does the river. I mean, across that drive is town-owned property, which becomes a little marshier. And I mean, I've seen. I mean, I was there when the bridge wasn't done and it would flood over. I mean, I've seen where water goes for sure.
You were questioning the area. Where his car is parked is the area. This was the original footprint of the driveway. Okay, there's the driveway coming in, it moves around. So there's your
And this is the patio.
this is in between. This is on the other side here is this. This is what you're looking at right here. Hang on, I got a couple more. Let me see those.
There's one signed
Yeah, Warren, you should just sign in, though, just so we have it on the
Okay.
record. So.
All right. As soon as I get back there, I'll sign it. That's just the top. This is the driveway. This is the original footprint of the driveway. There was a tree here and here. The house is here. This is the
river's over
the
there,
river's
so
right
that
here.
would- yeah.
Right. This is the
shows
section
the
they're
contour
talking
of the
about
slope
from
that it
here
goes towards the
down.
driveway, which
Right.
is over here, not as
and there
much
down
towards the
there.
river.
Correct.
River's over.
And the river's right here.
I mean,
It was that.
I certainly don't think we're going to change how the drainage.
And
is
this
gonna go
was,
towards
if
the
you
river.
look, there's a swimming pool in the back. When they did the pool, God knows how long ago,
It was like 6,
this
7 years ago. at
this
least.
was the access road for the trucks to get to the pool. Now, there was scrub brush in here and stuff, and he just said, can we clean it up and put something on top? And that's what we did. And that's when we topsoiled both sides of it.
So Warren, in the area of the processed stone drive.
Right, this
You
isn't
rem-
processed stone though, by the way, but it's,
Well, okay, whatever that is.
well, it's a soft material, it's a brick material to absorb.
Okay, but whatever that is, you remove that topsoil material.
Pushed it to the sides, correct. I
Okay.
pushed it to this side, top dress this, and then re-slope this and
how
topsoil.
many? I saw 4 or 5 truckloads of material come in.
Yeah, there was, well, between the driveway and that, there was more than that, but this area took about 2 truckloads to top dress.
So is that 10 yards? 10 yards
Of the brick fill, yeah. Of the brick fill. The brick fill doesn't go under the driveway. The red stuff that you saw, when you came there was 2 loads that came in. And I actually sent the 3rd load away because I didn't need it. So that's this area here.
So there's like 20 yards
This is the area in question.
of fill material brought in.
Correct. It's the absorbent one. I also own West Rock Materials. We make certain fills for state projects. So we make certain stuff for different applications. So this was never getting paved, so.
Well, when you say never getting paved, you say that today.
No. It was never getting paved. He asked if I could put millings on it.
Right. It was never getting paid.
And we were going to put millings on it until you showed up and said we're in violation. So we didn't put the millings on it. But this was going to be millings on top of that.
But what I was about to say is that from the wetlands perspective, never is a term that we really don't use here because we hear a lot of stories about things that are never going to get paved, and then they get paved.
Well, I've been in business for 25 years, so I know what you're saying.
Okay.
But I can only tell you what the homeowner asked me to do.
And of course, we're worried about future owners and what
Right.
they will do.
All right. So
So-
That's why we don't make a road right down by the river, because future owners
You're
will not be able
saying,
to.
you're saying make a road. That was a pre-existing road. We just top dressed it.
I think that we can disagree about that.
Okay, we can agree to disagree, but that wasn't
Okay.
pre-existing. There's a fence with an opening here. He's got a gate in his fence to get in.
I think there was some tracked vehicles that went up and dug up the pool. I was around, I can give you the dates.
Sure, I'm sure.
I may even have a photograph of that vehicle, by the way, from those years. But it was certainly not a drive. It was certainly not a road. And it was certainly not capable of being put any asphalt materials down or any solid surface
No,
materials
it would
down.
have had it been prepared to be done.
And now it is prepared.
Not for asphalt.
I-
It would have to come out. This would have to come out, and processed stone would have to go in. This is a red brick process. It's made from crushed brick, and it absorbs water. It's a fill product.
Can't we do something like construct a swale along the side of the driveway just to capture this and let it slowly, leach out toward the river? Wouldn't that be an easy,
I think it's
inexpensive
doing
solution?
that now, Bob. I mean, you certainly can. You could ask us to do whatever you like.
Well, I'm trying to
But
think
this
about.
water is never going to get over that grass. This is from the corner of this driveway to the wet box,
Oh, yeah.
100 feet.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it going this way. What I'm concerned about, whatever runs down here, getting, this down here is really my only concern.
Well, this
And
is
if
where
there's
it was
something-
going prior. This was always downhill to here. We didn't change this grade or the slope. The grade and the slope have always been that way. They've always run this way downhill.
I mean, you're just concerned about the water flowing down that path now
Well,
and
unimpeded.
maybe washing away the millings or getting into
Yeah.
not directed into the river appropriately.
Right, yeah, exactly. I'm just looking
I
for
mean,
a
what
real
if we put
solution.
like a gravel sleeve
So-
at the end, like a gravel?
So this driveway, this is the bridge.
Where? Tara, point that out to me.
My eyes are getting.
Mine too, I'm with you on the glasses routine.
I had trouble even seeing the river on this
Well,
one.
there's your pool.
this is the river.
Right.
There's the pool,
So
that's the
there,
river.
that's the river right here. And so this
Right.
driveway, the existing.
you can see the gray path right there.
Let me see. Your existing driveway, as long as we're talking about your existing driveway, which,
You can't really see, but go ahead.
well, we can describe it for them because
Right,
you
go
can't see it. It
Yeah,
comes
sorry.
here, it takes a right-hand turn here, and this area that's been paved, which you can see here,
It goes
as
back
it
quite a bit.
goes
too.
back,
Yeah.
right? Now, whether or not this has been expanded or not, I can't.
Well, there's a wall here. It was always paved. The wall's not on this picture, but there's a retaining wall there that was paved right to the end.
I think these trees are probably gone, and that retaining wall is up there now. But you see all of this. And don't forget, we're only seeing trees that this is in the winter. So
Right, correct.
so we have some trees that exist along the stream. They're there,
Those are still there,
right?
and these
Um,
are still here.
The
Hemlocks are still there.
but it's the trees have been taken down. Still not a big
Right,
issue
we're
for me.
here, right.
But now what we've done is we've made this drive down here, and we now have a circular driveway here. And it says this water runs down here.
Here's the end of the wall that he's talking about. Here's where the driveway was. Granted, there
Teeter
might
off.
be, because this is sloped down.
It's
the
within a foot or two.
Yeah.
But okay, but I take no exception to that. Everything
Okay.
today, we have more traffic, we have more people, we have more asphalt, we have more rain, we have more of everything, right? And it's all that water that's coming down, I believe, in an expedited way, a quicker, faster way down this driveway, which is the problem.
Okay,
Now,
let me ask you a question though. If this was always paved and the water always came down this way, how is there more water coming down this way?
because it now gets there quicker because of your extension of the driveway, in effect. Because this was all the forest floor. This was a highly absorbent area. And it's just.
Well, this is only a 12, 14 feet wide, that is? Don't quote me on that, I don't know.
You can see your car there. I mean, it's probably.
And you
a
can
max
see on
12,
here,
so-
there's the existing dirt road that we're talking about. It's right
Yeah,
there.
there is evidence of something.
It's
down
right there. And all we did was top dress it.
I believe requires a permit from this agency, sir.
I don't disagree with you. I didn't think that we were in violation, and you let me know we were.
Okay.
Okay,
For the record, Warren Luciani, 21 Lawrence Street, Woodbridge.
Would it be appropriate for Bob Criscola to take a look
well,
at
yeah,
that?
I was thinking
And
two
perhaps
things.
also a soil
Right,
scientist?
before our next meeting, we should go down there, just continue this thing for the couple weeks until our next meeting. Go down there, take a look, ask Bob if there's a cheap, inexpensive way of, containing or restraining the water from getting to the river too quickly. In my mind, I would be happy with just a swale or some, stone trench or something like that that could intercept this, just if there is anything that runs off the gravel area of the driveway. But I'll leave that to the end, Bob, see if he has a suggestion.
What exactly is a swale?
It's just a trench, basically. Yeah.
I mean, the area where this starts is still 100 feet from the river, but it obviously flows towards.
Yeah, we're just concerned about the area just
Yeah.
in the immediate vicinity of the river, and how we could add something to this to protect it a little bit more.
Sure.
Not looking for you.
No, we'd be happy to do whatever
anything
the board
complicated.
thinks is correct. I mean,
Yeah.
we certainly didn't do this maliciously.
Mhm.
We're here to do what
Yeah.
you guys feel is correct.
I don't know. What does everybody else think? Those are just my thoughts.
Well, I think you've got to do at least that.
Well, yeah, and the fact that you said you don't plan to mow this grass, that it's there as soil retention. If you're not planning to keep it as lawn, that would help too.
Well, then why not plant it?
Well, we'll
Willfully.
get to yeah. I mean,
I think I'd rather. I mean, the plan is always to landscape after you clear. You make a nice path. Is to, so we certainly have intentions of adding some, some brush and bushes and things like that.
and there are lots of wetland-friendly bushes that can be.
Sure, if you guys,
In the past,
make
we've
some
talked about high
recommendations, we'd be happy to
bush
abide.
blueberries.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's a-
host of
right.
plantings that.
And it certainly has a bit more light now than it had, because it was pretty
Well, there's no
dark.
question, the trees that we took down were large trees,
Yeah.
but they were on the other side of the property. And when we took them down, it absolutely opened up and gave them light. One of them was half dead, ready to split, and the other was just under the driveway. He just had made his way under, which I'm sure you've all seen on driveways.
maybe it would be helpful to add some of those bushes down the end where it gets really close to the river to absorb that water.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Bob can get out there in the next couple of weeks just to take a quick look?
I know he's in Florida with his dad at the moment. I don't
Okay.
know of his availability, but we'll certainly inquire.
All right, and
And is this, are we going to be wanting a formal application, do you think, Terry, or?
well, my thought is, why don't we go take a look at it, during the next, before the next meeting, and that way we'll be a little bit better versed as to what our thoughts are.
I'm encouraged that that both parties are present this evening and expressing a willingness to cooperate. In the past, we haven't had that much luck with people who did not show up,
Right.
and I think that if some expedient way we could have perhaps modified this order with the conditions that need to be done and saves everybody both time and money in terms of an application fee and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense than going through an application process right now. If we can just modify the order with conditions as to whatever we can work out in between us.
Pat said he doesn't have a problem with Terry making a recommendation if there's shrubbery or something, if Bob can't get out.
I wonder how married you are to your circular driveway ending at the bridge the way it does, or how you would feel about it moving further upland towards your other drive, towards the entrance, to keeping it away from the web walk.
I mean, the center right now is only, I would say, 20, 25 feet wide, maybe. I I mean, if we moved it significant, and by significant, I would say that's probably more than 5 or 6 feet away from, it wouldn't be much of a circular driveway at that point.
And you'd also have to lose a couple of trees, because they're
We'd
right
have to take the
there.
hemlocks out, yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously, it would certainly cost me some money to do that. I mean, if we could plant some shrubbery, I mean, I own machinery, I own an electrical company. I could do it myself.
Well, I think we should have Bob look at it.
Yeah, and we'll take a look too between our next meeting. We'll just continue this to the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
So if the recommendation is to plant shrubbery, would I have to come apply for a permit to plant that because I'm within 100 feet of it?
No, well, the way I'd prefer to handle it would be just a condition of resolving the cease and desist. We don't
Okay.
need to make this any more
Right.
protracted or expensive than it.
so just don't do anything right now.
Yeah, the only thing, Terry, though, you think it would make sense for them to put more processor mill work and mill whatever the stuff is that they're putting on top to get that down there to prevent any erosion in the next couple of weeks if we do get rain, or?
Now, I would suggest some rather more formal siltation devices, such as a silt fence or some hay bales. I don't think hay bales would be appropriate because it's,
I think hay bales will do less damage than silt fence, though. We gotta
Well-
dig the silt fence in.
well, but you have to dig the hay bales in too, frankly. If you,
Yeah.
but whatever, I mean, I
We
think
have
that,
grass growing. We have green grass growing.
I know, but,
Amazingly enough.
I know,
Yeah,
but,
good job on that.
but the first inch of rain in an hour is not gonna, right now on that grass, it's not gonna be there anymore.
Well, Terry, do you think if they put some hay bales along the edge of the driveway, on the driveway side of the grass, and stake those into the ground, would that be sufficient for the next couple of weeks? I mean,
I'd
that's-
rather have it along the tree line, along the clearing line,
Oh, okay.
The hay bales or
the
silt
hay
fence?
bales. Well, I don't really care between hay
Yeah,
bales and
I
silt
think the
fence.
hay bales would be sufficient.
My problem with the silt fence is we would have to dig
Get a
it
machine,
in,
yeah.
and now we're in the wetland. Well, there is no wetlands. We're closer to the brook, and we would be doing more damage than. But I'm not opposed to hay bales. Or
Yeah, hay bales.
Whatever we
staked
can
into the
do to
ground.
rectify this.
Properly installed, because hay bales have to
Two
be
stakes.
properly installed with the,
2 stakes.
with the right. If we have a handout if you need it, because.
I think I got a few copies.
Well, okay. But people get it, astonishingly, they get it backwards, by the way. And I certainly think that that's at minimum to secure it against, because it's got to rain sometime. I mean, this drought that we're having has been quite
Coming from a
remarkable.
farmer, I would hope so pretty soon.
And it's what I'm concerned about in this particular site. While the slope is low, you guys don't know that this agency has spent the last year or so talking about stream protection, and this is the kind of stream that we have always talked about protecting, and there wouldn't be any activity within 50 feet of this stream, as important as this stream is. You may not know that this is the headwaters of the Weppawag.
Well, I understand. I grew up in Milford, so I'm well aware of the Whipple.
So anything that happens on your property ends up right in that duck pond.
Absolutely. Right.
So it takes a while to get there.
That's a
Yeah.
long run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Crosses the road a few times, but
It does, and it gets wide and it gets narrow, and it gets
Yeah.
here it happens to be very narrow.
yeah.
We may have to start a little bit early. Okay, so what we'll plan to do then is, we'll add this to our September 15th site visit schedule. Was it 15?
September
14,
15, 17.
17th.
17.
So Saturday the
We're doing
17th.
Saturdays?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought we were doing before the meeting.
No, it gets too dark.
Well, the next meeting is the 15th, isn't
Does
it?
that require my attendance because I'm in town?
It's the
No.
22nd.
Oh, it is the 22nd?
22nd.
Oh, okay.
Doing that Indian Trail. is that-
All right, so on the 17th, we'll be out there for a
The
site visit.
21st.
Some people may not be able to make it, they may just drive by,
We
go down
moved
the
the
road and
meeting
take a look.
to the
You don't need to
14th.
be there.
We moved the meeting.
We'll take care of,
22nd, 3rd.
and we'll see if Bob Criscolo can get out there before then too, and
Looks like
come up with some recommendations. If you could put some hay bales down, that'll be helpful.
Not a problem.
22nd is.
I've got a
is the
load
first.
coming in Monday, so.
Not the 3rd
Okay.
week.
I'm on the wrong day, 21st.
The 21st.
21st is the meeting, and we have the other site
Terry,
visit
the
scheduled
bottom
for
section.
the
17th.
for the 17th.
So we can add this.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
about
Site visit 17th, next meeting is the 21st.
Well, we want to
Sorry about
protect
I
that
was
soil
looking at
from
the
running into that river.
Gotcha.
So can we add that?
And all the
stuff
way to the bridge.
Well, I'll start at the bridge, and I'll
Right.
work my way in
The cease and
25
desist.
bales maybe.
And
That's
carry
50
it.
feet.
Carry it.
The
out.
hay bales?
Carry it.
I think he's gonna do it, you know, but yeah, we'll vote to continue, we'll do it formally and
strong
vote to continue
person.
that. Okay, so do we have a motion to continue the cease and desist hearing? The respondent's going to be installing hay bales in the meantime, and we will do a site visit on the Saturday the 17th during a regular site visit routine.
So moved.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Barry seconded, David moved, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay, so we're done for tonight with that.
Sorry about the inconvenience.
That's okay. We haven't had that much business lately, so.
Thank you for coming
I'm
in.
here, I'm 55 years old in Woodbridge. First time here.
Thanks, Warren. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
1/6.
Okay, that's the only item on the agenda, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
David moves, Jack seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? We're out of here, 8:09. Thank you.